section. You say biscuit, but honestly, I would call that a scone. 7:30 a.m. on Thursday, May the 11th. Good morning, Charge.
Morning, Flash.
Ooh. So, it's finally here, day one.
Yes, and it's 7:30 a.m. We're packed, we've had breakfast, note, comfortable bed, not going to see one of these for a while, and what are we going to do? About 7 and a bit miles, they don't count.
Yeah.
But 7 and a bit miles to get to the start, which is Springer Mountain, and we get to do this today. Wow.
Okay, we're out the door and heading towards the approach trail. Breakfast was yummy. The grits and biscuits, not quite sure what that was about, but I feel sustained and ready to get going. Bit of an average sleep last night, moving from New Zealand time to Eastern time, USA, is a really hard transition. I think Joe and I both woke up at 11 p.m, 1 a.m, 3 a.m, but, nearly fell down the stairs. But, yeah, that'll come right. Nothing like a walk in the woods to sort out your sleep. I'm excited. The temperature's perfect. And let's just see what this day brings. Not a lot to report on the approach trails so far. It's just like this, not particularly exciting. The difference year on year, i.e. compared to last year, is that it's green. And we've also passed some people this morning. We've gone past one campsite with 2 tents pitched and past another gentleman who was packing up his stuff. So there are a few people out here, but no views. We're just trucking along, heading towards the start of the Appalachian Trail, and it's perfect walking conditions this morning. Really nice temperature, it's kind of cool. Must be in the late teens, or mid to late teens in terms of Celsius, and it's really lovely. Okay, Charge.
Hey, Flash.
2.5-ish kind of hours into our hike, and we're around about 6.5 miles on the approach trail. So, you want to give us a quick update on how we're going so far?
Yeah, we get on so well, I'll contradict you. We're 7.5 miles, including the stairs we did yesterday. We've got about another mile and a half to get to the start, Springer. So when we get up there, it's 9.2 miles for nothing. But you heard it here first. I'm going to count these on a total, so the trail is no longer 2,196 miles. It is 2,213.5 miles.
We've just added it in.
And what did you spot today?
I know, our critter count.
I know. You've seen a deer.
Yep.
Then you saw some really neat, fat, yummy looking centipedes, different colours.
I did.
And then what did you see?
I saw a bear.
And what was it doing?
It was standing up and looking at us.
Yeah, so it was a juvenile, probably about 5.5 feet.
I don't know, but it was only about 40 metres away from us. It was quite close.
It was very, very close. That's cool. So approach trail, day one, and we've seen a bear.
Just coming up past the 8-mile mark for this morning so far, and it's got very misty. We're in the clouds. It's been threatening to rain this morning, but it hasn't done that, which I'm really relieved. The temperature's perfect hiking weather, or perfect hiking temperature. Whilst we all like blue sunny days, when you're hiking up a hill, overcast and cool is just perfect. So we are just getting towards the end of the approach trail to what they call the southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail, and where Joe and I are both going to reset our watches, and it starts. It's wonderful to be here. It's been a very quiet, contemplative kind of morning, relieved by the excitement of the bear sighting, but it's fantastic to be here. So we're here.
Flash. Well, this is the start of the Appalachian Trail. So this here is the first blaze on the trail. May there be many more. There's the plaque, but the original plaque is up here further.
We'll go and have a look at that in a second.
And there's a book there.
What you doing, Charge?
I'm writing into the little book.
Are you logging us in?
Yeah.
Springer Mountain. It's the iconic southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail. We've seen lots of pictures, we've seen lots of videos, and whilst we've walked 850, 865 miles on the trail, this is probably the most iconic spot that we've been to so far, apart from Harper's Ferry, which is the middle. So to be here, to stand here surrounded by mist, peace and quiet, tweeting birds, it feels fantastic. It's lunchtime. Joe and I are starving, so we're going to have, what do we got here? We've got sharp cheddar and mango halves. Delicious. Just like that, we have arrived at Hawk Mountain Shelter. Well, the blue blaze down to the shelter. I don't know if you remember from last year, but white blazes are what we follow when we're walking on the trail, like those blazes there. And blue blazes are when we're going off trail to look at something like a view or down to a shelter. We just bumped into a ridge runner. They are people who work up and down the trail, helping out people and keeping an eye on stuff and doing a whole bunch of really amazing things, I think. And she said that we have well and truly missed the crowds, that as far as she's concerned so far, that we're probably the only people who are going to be in the shelter tonight. Oh, and it's just starting to rain. So Charge and I were just having a conversation and saying, particularly if it's going to rain, we may stay in the shelter tonight. Oh, and through the trees, I can see our little home for the night. There's a spring behind the shelter that we can get water from, and there's a nice picnic table we can sit at if it's not pouring with rain. And oh yep, here we go, as Charge has pointed out, those over there are bear boxes which we can lock all our food up away from the bears. And if I come around here, you'll see that that's a nice little clean shelter, and happily be our home for the night. So this is what happens when we get to camp. We've taken over the shelter, we've taken all our stuff out of our packs, and what we've done is we've hung one pack there and hung one pack there. Why, might you ask, if you're not familiar with the Appalachian Trail, are they hanging their packs? Is it the bears? No, it's not the bears. It's the...
Four-legged.
It's the mice. It's the mice. So Joe's just making a cup of tea. So he's boiled the kettle. We've got our tea bags in there. He's been down the hill getting water, which he's put into those bags, which he's now filtering through our filter into the stove.
CNOT bag.
There is CNOT bag. You like those CNOT bags, don't you?
And it's a bee-free filter, which is brilliant. See how fast it went?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And these bags here, and we open up so you can actually scoop the water, fill the bag real quick and easy, seal, does not leak, and then you just squeeze it to
The water's important
filter.
because, in fact, if I come over here, you can see that we've got a lineup of, well, there's another bag, there's one missing, but we've got 4 small water bottles, 2 water bottles that we put our electrolytes in. So all that stuff's really important. The other thing that we've done is that we've set up our beds. So we've both blown up our pads. Mine takes 32 breaths. Actually, it took less this time. And we've got our... Thank you, darling. Because now we've put out our silk liners, laid out our beautiful down quilts, and I've turned my clothing bag inside out, and so when I turn it over that side, it's a nice fleecy pillow for me to put my head on. So Joe's just gone off, Charge has just gone off to get some more water because he drew the short straw. And if we look out here, it's just been raining. We've just had kind of a torrential downpour, and here comes a hiker just coming into the hut now. 20 past 6 in the woods, and it's time to go to bed. We've actually had a really good dinner. We had again these Radix meals from New Zealand, RADIX. I had plant-based Mexican chili, and Joe had beef Mexican chili. Actually, they were really good. Probably couldn't eat them every night. 800 calories in one little bag. But we've eaten, brushed our teeths separately, and it's almost time for lights out. We have one other person staying in the shelter with us, Jasper from Chicago. But apart from that, the woods are silent, and hopefully they'll remain silent. Yes, Mr. Bear, I'm talking about you. Good night, everyone, and we'll catch you tomorrow. What's the time, Joe?
The time is Wolf. 7:15.
And it's cup of tea time, isn't it?
Slow start today.
Slow start today. It's raining. It's Jasper down there getting his food out of his bear box. It's 7:50 a.m. on a very wet and misty morning. We've got about 7.8 miles to go to the next shelter where we may stop for a break and possibly some lunch. And then I think we're pushing on 16 miles today to a campsite. We can't go any further than that because the next section you need to have a bear canister for your food, which is a hard box that the bears can't get into. We've only got bags. We'll stop soon and quickly catch up with Charge, and he'll give you a much more specific rundown on how our day's going to go. Good morning, Charge.
G'day, Flash.
First night on the trail, how was that?
Oh, it was interesting. It absolutely pelted down about 3 times during the night, and I mean pelted down, rain. We're up, it's just on 5 minutes to 8. We've got only 16 miles to do today.
Yep.
We're going to a place called Lance Creek, which is basically just prior to the Blood Mountain. So, yeah, it's good. It's misty. There's a lot of moisture falling from the trees. So, interesting day. Interesting day.
But a good day, right?
Hey, we get to do this today.
We do. So good morning. I haven't got my raincoat on this morning. It's misty and rainy as Charge said, but nothing too bad. Forecast is for thunderstorms today, so we'll see how that goes. Funny night in the shelter last night. We got there early, thought we had it all to ourselves, and then Jasper came. We'd met Jasper earlier. He's a 19-year-old from Chicago. He's training to be a firefighter and is taking time off to hike the trail. Joe and I are both a bit jet-lagged at the moment, so settling down and trying to get to sleep is hard. And those Thermo-Rest sleep pads that we sleep on, oh my stars. If you roll over, it sounds like you're rolling in cellophane. So, when you're a bit restless and rolling around and everyone's trying to get comfortable, there's just a whole bunch of rustling and cellophane noises going on all night. And of course then there's the snoring and the coughing and the sneezing. Jasper said he woke up at one stage to find a mouse marching towards him. And that's the reason that we hang our packs up on those pegs in the shelters, because many of the shelters have got mice in them. Some of the shelters have been known to have snakes in them, so I always have a look when we get in just to make sure there's no snakes. But the mice, well, you just hope they aren't there. Today's going to be a good day, and tonight we don't have a shelter option. It's camping, so hopefully the rain will stop and we can pitch our tent in the dry. Two hours in, we're sitting down and having a rest. So we try every 2 hours to take our packs off, rest our feet, and have a drink or a snack. It's been steady climbing so far this morning. We've been either climbing or descending. Mist is still hanging around there, and it's warm and slightly eerie, very green, no views, but it's just us and the birds. Okay, it's kind of early, but Gooch Mountain Shelter is down here, and we're going to go and Gooch Gap Shelter, Gooch something shelter, and we're going to put our feet up, have some cheese, and all in the spirit of eating well, taking it easy, and having regular breaks while we slowly get ourselves into this hike, rather than going like mad things at the beginning and wearing ourselves out. Strategy seems to be working rather well. I mean, the weather has continued to be pretty horrendous. And oh, there's Jasper. There he is again. Oh, you're kidding me, trash.
I know, I was
That
like,
is-
I might as well go take some.
I'm getting rid of mine as well. Okay, so before I got really excited about the rubbish bins, because if you see a rubbish bin, you empty all of the rubbish out of your backpack, because you've got to carry it with you, leave no trace. So I just emptied all of the rubbish from the last 2 days out of my backpack, and I tell you, it makes a difference from a weight perspective and a stinky perspective. We're at Woody Gap in the Chattahoochee National Forest, and we've got about 2 more hours or 4 more miles uphill till we get to our location for the night. So, oh, they've even got a loo here. That's okay. That's pretty fantastic. Woody Gap's the gap with everything. Camping. Okay, this is where we're hoping to camp tonight, but it looks to me like there are a lot of people here. We'll all just have to oh, lots and lots of people. If there's too many people, we may just keep going.